My father and brother tried to kill me, but I came back for my revenge. My name is Oliver Crawford. I'm 24, male. Our family built Crawford Industries from the ground up. It wasn't just a company, it was a legacy, a symbol of our family's wealth and influence. My grandparents, the founders, worked tirelessly for decades to make it a success. Growing up, my grandparents were my safe haven. While my father and brother, Jonathan, barely tolerated me, my grandparents saw me for who I was. I visited them every weekend, helped them around the house, and shared their stories. I loved them, and they loved me. Like other members of my family, I started working at the company when I turned 18, witnessing how most of my family members were hungry for power. My father, Robert, and my brother, Jonathan, were especially ruthless. But unlike them, I wasn't interested in scheming or politics. I believed in hard work, in earning my place. That's why I poured everything into the company, working late nights, building relationships with clients, and showing my grandparents that I could take their vision into the future. My dedication didn't go unnoticed. When my grandfather announced that he planned to retire, he also revealed his decision about who would take over Crawford Industries. "Oliver," he said, looking directly at me during a family meeting, "you've proven that you have what it takes to lead this company. When I step down, I want you to take the reins." The room was silent, but the tension was palpable. My father's face darkened, and Jonathan clenched his fists. I knew they hated me for it. They'd always seen me as the soft one, the outcast, but now, I was the chosen one, and they couldn't stand it. Behind closed doors, my father's resentment festered into something darker. He felt that the company should have been his by birthright and that Jonathan, as his loyal son, was the natural successor. To them, I was just an obstacle, a problem they needed to eliminate. Their plan began to take shape one evening when my father invited me on a business trip. He claimed it was an opportunity for us to bond, to show me the ropes of leadership. I wanted to believe he was finally proud of me. We drove late at night on a remote road. When my father pulled over, saying there was a problem with the car, I got out to help. And that's when Jonathan stepped out of the shadows. They attacked me. I still hear my father's voice saying, "Make it look like an accident." They left me there, unconscious, and staged a fiery car crash to make sure no one would question my death. But they didn't check to see if I was really dead. I woke up, badly injured, but alive. I did the only thing I could think of. I went to the one place I knew I'd be safe, my grandparents' house. When they opened the door and saw me, my grandmother broke down in tears. After I told them what had happened, my grandfather's face turned to stone. "They'll pay for this," he said, and he meant it. My grandparents didn't hesitate. They hid me in their home and called an old friend, a private investigator named Hank. Over the next year, Hank dug deep, uncovering damning evidence against my father and Jonathan. Meanwhile, my father and brother spun their own story. When my body wasn't found at the crash site, they claimed I'd fled. "Oliver's always been unstable," my father told the police. "He probably ran away after crashing the car." To the rest of the family, they painted me as a reckless runaway, a black sheep who couldn't handle the pressure of the company. But their lies wouldn't hold up for long. Hank's investigation uncovered security footage from a nearby gas station showing my father and Jonathan buying the gasoline used in the fire. Phone records revealed their coordination before and after the attack. There was even a witness, a local farmer, who saw them pushing the car off the road late that night. When the evidence was airtight, my grandparents decided it was time for justice. They organized a family reunion, inviting everyone under the pretense of announcing how the inheritance and control of Crawford Industries would be divided. The reunion was held in the grand dining hall of my grandparents' estate. My father and Jonathan arrived, smug and confident, thinking they'd finally secured their victory. My grandfather stood up to speak. "As you all know, I've made my decision about the future of this family and our company," he began. My grandmother added, "But before we share our plans, there's someone we'd like you all to see." The room went silent as I stepped in. Gasps echoed through the hall. My mother looked like she'd seen a ghost, and my father's face turned ashen. Surprised to see me, I asked, locking eyes with my father. Before they could respond, I told everyone the truth how they'd attacked me, staged the crash, and left me for dead. My grandparents then revealed the evidence Hank had collected, the security footage, the phone records, the witness testimony. It was undeniable. My grandfather's voice boomed through the room. You betrayed this family. You betrayed me. And now, you'll face the consequences. Then he delivered the final blow. As for the company, it will be left entirely to Oliver. He's the only one who's ever shown true loyalty to this family and its legacy. Chaos erupted. My father and Jonathan shouted, denying everything, but it was too late. The evidence had already been handed over to the police. As I walked out of that house, I felt a sense of closure. They thought they could destroy me, but in the end, they destroyed themselves. Justice had been served, and Crawford Industries would continue to thrive under my leadership. This time, I wasn't just a survivor, I was the heir.